is, just take it off so I can see your faces. So you're just suffering. Right, let's start in set position. Anchor the heels down into the floor, soften through your knees and let the arms just drop down by your thighs. Starting with the shoulders, just your right one. Take a little circle, pulling the elbow down towards the ribs. Breathing in as you lift the arm, and again breathing out to pull it back and down. And start to turn the head. Get a little bit of rotation now through the upper body. But think about the hips. Gentle squeeze of the bottom, tucking under with the tailbone so it keeps the hips nice and square to the front. And that's when you get much more rotation through the back. Okay, your last one. And let the hand drop down by the thigh. Square the shoulders and then come to your left, just drawing the elbow up and over and then pulling it down into the back of the ribs. Keep these shoulders nice and square to begin with the hips, and then start to add the rotation, now looking back over the shoulder. Using the in-breath as you lift the arm, out-breath to pull that shoulder blade back and down, and 2 more circles. And then resting in the centre, hands just wrapping from side to side. With the wrap, we'll take a small step into the centre and across the side. Try and relax the arms and let them just wrap as you turn the upper body. Let your weight shift over into your right foot and then pull back into your left. Try and look back over the shoulder if you can. And 2 more. Over to your right. And then stay in the centre. Stay with the wrap and then step over to the left. Let the head, let the shoulders turn. As you step over to the left, let the weight come into that left foot. Bend into the left knee. Just to let you start to sit the hips back a little bit more. Feel the length in the neck. Just look at the crown of the head pulling upwards towards the ceiling. And give me 2 more. And then resting in the centre. So from here we're going to take the feet wide. Keep the left foot forward, take your right foot wide and then turn the right foot to the side. Arms open, so your left hand to the ceiling, right hand reaching down to the ankle. You're going to slide down to the ankle and then come back up to the ceiling. Keep pushing the left hand up as you reach down with your right hand. Now squeeze the thighs, keeping both legs nice and straight. So when you ease down, hopefully you're finding a stretch into that left leg, right down the back of your left thigh. Now as you lower, keep the chest nice and open to the front. And just go to the point where you feel the stretch right down the back of your right thigh. Breathe in as you lower. Breathe out with that left. 2 more, because it's a nice stretch for the hamstrings. Last time. And then come into the centre. Bend your front knee and reach your arm back. Then straighten your front leg and reach your back arm forward. So you're bending the front knee, reaching back, and then straighten the front leg and reaching over. And as you reach over, we just want to feel the ribs moving away from the hips. Breathe out as you move into each stretch. So your out breath here. Breathe in to lift. Push the knee forward and reach the arm back. And twice more. Beautiful. And then resting in the centre. Turn your right foot forward. Left foot out to the side. So square the hips. Both legs straight. Reach your right arm up. Slide the left hand down towards the ankle and then pull back up to the ceiling. Turn your palm to the front on that left hand and then reach back up, pushing your fingertips up to the ceiling. And again, as you ease down, we're searching for the stretch in the left leg. It's not how low you can go, it's how straight you can keep that upper body as you lower down. And as you're pushing your hips, your pelvis over to the left, right hand side, that's where we get more stretch into the left leg. And again, slow breath in as you ease down, find the stretch, and then breathe out to pull back up. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 2 to go. That's a nice stretch. certainly needed. And come into the centre. So bend your front knee now, reach the arm back, and then straighten your front leg and let that back arm come over. Push the knee over the heel, feel that C shape in your spine. Breathe in through your nose. Now use the out breath, lift up and reach. So try and make the arms as long as you can. And just feel your movement flowing from one side to the other. Keep anchoring down through the feet. See how long you keep that spine as you move. And 2 more each way. And again, another nice one. Resting in the centre. Turn both feet out to the diagonal. Come down into a little squat. Reach the left arm over, then the right, and then rise, pulling the shoulders up. Pull the shoulders down, the arms out wide, then reach, reach, pull the shoulders up, push the shoulders down. Feel that C shape into the spine, and then pull up through the top of the head. Sink into the hips. And as you sink into the hips, push the knees out wide, so they're coming over your toes. So when you're at the bottom, if you look, you should be able to see your big toes to the inside of the knees. And keep pushing the knees back towards the little toes to get a nice deep stretch on those inner thighs as well. And once more. Over to the right, over to the left, and then straighten both legs. Turn the feet forward, keep the legs straight, bend forward from the hips, bring your hands to the floor, bend your knees if you need to. From here, you'll feel your back round. Gently push your chest forward and your bottom back, and then tuck in your chin and look back between your thighs. As you push your bottom back and your chest forward, we should then start to discover a nice little stretch down to the back of the hamstrings. Again, feel the belly lifting, the back rounding, and then feel the chest pushing forwards. Breathe in as you draw the belly up, and breathe out to push forward. And at the same time, pushing into the edge of your feet. Now once more. And then rest. Walk the hands forward, bring the weight into your hands, and then step your feet in. Bring the knees down to the ground, keep the toes tucked, and just slide your hips back to your heels, and then push your chest forward. So you're pulling the hips back. And as you pull the hips back, keep the hands pressing into the ground. Draw the belly up towards the back. So when you pull back, you're allowing the back to round. Scooping the tailbone under so it gets right into the lower back. Breathe in to come forwards, out to pull back, and twice more. So that just gets a nice release into the lower back, and then we're going to come to the inner thighs. So holding, taking your right leg out to the side, push the edge of your foot down to the floor, and keep pushing away through the edge of the foot. And when you're ready, you're going to pull the hips back again towards the heels, and then come forwards. So you feel the hips moving directly back. If you want to go a little bit deeper into the stretch, almost twist the hips at the back, so you're pushing your hip over towards the left heel more. But as you push the hip over to the left, you're still pressing the edge of your foot and your big toe, down to the little toe, down to the ground. And that helps get a much better stretch on those inner thighs. Push the hip over to the left. And once more. And then stay in the centre. Use your right hand now, just reach towards the ankle and back to your hand. Really strengthen your right leg. And again, pushing away into the edge of the foot. And start to let your upper body move. Almost turning the head now and trying to look back over your right shoulder. Breathe it out with each reach. And 3. 2, and let's hold the last one. So hold it onto the ankle or the floor. Try and encourage your nose towards your knee. So you're just moving the upper body. Or maybe just turn the head and have a little look back over your shoulder, that might be enough. Give me a couple more on this side. One last time. And then come into the centre. Bring your left foot forward and have a sit down onto your bottom. So keeping the right leg out straight, left foot sits into the inner thigh and square the hips. If that's uncomfortable with the foot all the way back there, allow it to sit forwards. Once you're ready, your hips are anchored. We're going to reach down towards the right ankle, lift the left arm and push up to the ceiling. Slide the hand to the ankle and reach your left arm over and then pull back. So you slide with the right hand and reach with the left. Now as you're reaching with the left, still push your weight back down into that left hip. So again, that's going to help to keep the pelvis nice and anchored, and that's going to bring much more stretch into the spine, into the waist. Let your head become a little heavier and sink down. Use the right hand now and push a little further towards the toes. Breathe out through the mouth as you push and reach. Little breath into the centre, and again. One more time, and then we're going to stay in the centre. Your left hand, bring it down to the floor. Draw a circle. Reach towards the toes, and then roll the elbow back over the shoulder. And again, big circle. Fingers come towards the foot, and then roll the shoulder back. Breathe in through your nose. Out through the mouth. As you lift, turn your palm to the front. So that's going to help to open the front of the shoulder. Stretching into the lats at the same time. And then make the circle a little bigger. If you can. Twice more. And your last one. The hand rests behind the hip. Press that left hand into the floor so it lifts your chest. Push your big toe down to the floor. Squeeze the right buttock to push the hip forward and reach the arm back as far as you can. Now go for length. Push your fingers away from your toes and gently push the hips forward so get a nice deep stretch through the waist. Then we'll come back into seated. Go for a big side bend all the way over. And then the hand back underneath the shoulder. Push down through the hand, push down through your toes. Then squeeze the bottom, push the hips forward. Let the arm reach as far as you can. Breathe in, come back onto your bottom. Breathe out into that side bend. Breathing in, press down with the left hand. Up with the hips and over with the arm. One more time. Maybe a little bit more length, maybe getting close to your toes this time. And last one, lifting. And resting in the centre. So when you're ready, we're going to bring the legs back, bring the knees back underneath the hips, hands shoulder width, knees hip distance, tuck your toes if it feels comfortable, and then just slide the hips back to the heels and push your chest forward. So it's a rounding action through the spine, belly lifting as you pull back, and the chest pushing forwards. So your back rounds and your back arches. And look back towards the thighs. And lift the eye gaze up towards the ceiling. Once more each way. And then when you come forward, we hold. Left leg out this time. Push your way into the edge of the foot. Take the foot as far as you comfortably can. And straighten up the leg. When you're ready, slide the hips directly back. So if you imagine a clock, your head's moving forward to 12 o'clock and your bottom's pulling back to 6 o'clock. Your little toes pushing across to 3 o'clock. And then, as you slide back, so you can take your hips to about 7 o'clock. So just pushing them a little further across at the back. And as you push the hips back and across, still keep pushing your foot down to the floor. Mine's just getting to about 6:30 on this side. Breathe out each time you slide back and across. That's going to encourage the muscles to relax. That's as relaxed as we get today. Now stay here and just work with your left hand. Now as the left hand reaches across, you're letting your head, your eye gaze, follow the hand. Feel your body weight coming across to the left. And then start to look over your left shoulder if you can. Keep pushing away to the edge of that left foot. Turn and look back. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold this one. Now from here, your nose, and encourage it towards the knee. So you're looking to the knee and easing off. Or maybe just having a look back over your shoulder. And you'll feel that as you get more rotation and twist through the upper body, you're getting more stretch into the inner thighs. Couple more. And your 1. And then resting, bringing the hands forward. Sit back onto the hips. Overshot my mat. Bring your foot to your inner thigh. Left leg, try and get your toes up to the ceiling. Left hand reaching towards the ankle. Take a lift and a real big lift with that right arm so you get length in the spine. And use that length then to go into your C shape. Breathing in. Slide the left hand towards the inside of the ankle. Reach up to the ceiling first and then over. And as you reach up, feel like you're trying to lift yourself off the ground. And then use all that space in your spine to go into that C shape. Breathe in as you pull back, lift and go for length. Drive that left hand towards the inside of the ankle at the same time. And then try and think about keeping your right buttock pressing into the ground. And a couple more here. It's good to open up the spine. Feel you're feeling a bit lighter for the rest of the day. Hand comes to the floor, circling. So you can circle the arm around and pull the shoulder back. Pushing the fingertips forward. Turn your palm to the front here. And that's what helps to open up the shoulder. So your palm facing forward. It's like you're using the back of the hand to wipe the sweat off your brow. Perfect. Very elegant this morning, ladies. 2 more. And then bring your hand down just by the hip. Press the hand into the floor. Push the hips up. Reach the arm over. Go for length again. And then bring the bottom back to the ground, nice and slow, into that nice big C shape. Hand under shoulder, press down with the hand, up with the hips. Try and get your fingers as far away from your toes as you can. So really go into that full length. See how long you can make the side of your body. Just easing back onto the bottom. And again, there is no rush. You get to enjoy this part. Sure, that's what it is. Pure enjoyment. And 2 more. Last one, you're going to hold a little bit longer. So as you reach up and over, maybe getting the fingers a little further away, pushing down into the toes, rolling the shoulder back, and then coming back onto the ground. Bring your left leg forward so the ankles cross. Knees come down, hips are nice and anchored, hands reach out wide, and then your side bends from side to side. I should feel that your spine's nice and loose. At the weight of the head, bring you a little bit closer to the floor. So let it sink, slowly, sinking, and then pulling up. Feeling a little heavier each time through the upper body. Feel the out breath makes you heavier. Breathe in and let it go. And once more each way. And then resting in the centre. Bring your right hand across to your left thigh. You're going to straighten this left arm and the back of the hand sits onto the thigh. Left shoulder pulls back, chin tucks in, and then pull the shoulder back and then turn the head. If we hold the shoulder here and turn the head, the neck comes completely out of alignment. We need to get the rotation through the upper back first of all, because there's so much rotation available through the thoracic spine and then through the neck. And that's what we tend to do sometimes, start turning the head rather than the spine. And it just keeps your spine so much more supple. Keeps the neck a lot safer because you can use the spine rather than the neck. Now think about the head. Feel like you're being pulled up off the floor again through the crown of the head. Feeling a little taller, and then try and turn a little further when you've got that height. Breathing in up the length of your spine, and then breathing out to release. Change your legs. So legs come out, left in, right in front. No, I got that wrong way around. Left in front, right behind. And then back to those side bends. So hands wide, and just go from side to side. Now go a little further. Maybe get the hand down towards the ground. Or your supporting arm, see if you can bring your elbow down to the floor. Arm towards the ear, so you're keeping that nice alignment from side to side. And once more. And then staying in the centre. From there, left arm comes across. Straight your strong arm so you can press against the back of your knee. Pull the right shoulder back. If you put your right hand just behind your bottom and push the hand into the floor like you're making yourself a little taller, and then revolve, pull the shoulder back. Keep the length in the neck so the chin is tucked in, and then try and look back over your shoulder. Keep using this left hand, press against your thigh to encourage the rotation. Breathe in, pull the head up to the ceiling like you're trying to pull yourself, off the ground. And then find a little bit more into the upper back. Chin tucked in, let the eye gaze turn a little further. And then coming back into the centre. Bring the feet out wide. Hands by the hips, and you're going to roll your knees over to the right. Press the knees down and lift your chest up. And then over to the left, press the knees down and lift your chest up. Little squeeze at the bottom now, so you almost thrust the hip forward. And then roll back. Squeeze, push the hip forward and ease back. So we're getting more into hip flexors as we encourage that rotation through the hips and the knees. Staying over to your left. Bring your left knee back. To your right, sorry. I know what I meant. So bring your left leg back and face your right. Makes more sense. To deepen your stretch, you can keep that leg here or just encourage that right foot a little further forward. Lift the chest to the back straight first and bring one hand to your ankle and one hand just above the knee. Try now and square your chest to your front shin. Don't let the upper back round, just let your body weight come forwards. There it is. Sometimes we tend to try and come down by rounding the back, and we can get right down here without feeling any stretch. The challenge is to keep the back long. Keep the ribcage lifted. Now physically press the knee down into the floor. Turn your head a little and see if you can have a look back over your right shoulder. Keep pressing the knee down into the ground. Turn the head. Lift the ribcage. Breathe. And then relax, come into the centre. We're going to straighten this back leg. So push the leg back. Turn onto the tops of your toes, onto the top of your knee, and then let this left hip roll down to the floor. If you need less, you can bring this foot further back, or again for more, keep it forwards. Feel like you're rolling your hip now towards your heel, just easing in and out. Roll onto the top of the knee, and then back onto the right buttock. So it's just easing in and out of the hips. Now this time as you roll forward, hold. Lengthen your back leg like you're pushing your toes to the back of your mat. Hands under the shoulders, little lift of your ribcage, and roll the shoulders back and down. Now push the heart forward and then lift it up. Keep pressing the knee down into the floor. When you're ready, we're going to walk the hands forward if you can. You can stay on your hands or ease down to your elbows. And again, once we're here on the elbows or the hands, we're just going to rock over to the right, to the left heel, and then back into the centre. So it's your left hip that's rolling down towards the floor. It's like you're trying to push it down to the ground. And as you push your left hip towards the floor, you feel your right buttock just lifts a little off the ground. Breathe in as you ease back. And again, breathing out to roll forwards. Couple more. And each time you roll your left hip to the floor, that's how we should get a much deeper stretch into the right hip. Now you're going to stay and enjoy it for longer. If you want to, take the arms forward. You can even let the head rest down on the floor. Or keep just forearms and elbows on the ground. Breathe down the length of your spine. Breathe out, let the hips feel heavier and sink to the floor. So you're just trying to let go of any control anywhere. And the head feel heavy, the shoulders feel heavy. The hips sinking with each out breath. And then when you've had enough, come back into the centre. Walk the hands in. Bring the knees back into the middle. Roll them over to the left. Push both knees down to the floor and lift the heart up. And again, over to the right, push the knees down and lift the chest up. Thrust the hip forward, squeeze your left buttock, push it forward, and again. And then we're going to do that same little sequence on the left hand side. Get back on my mat, lifting and holding here. So bring your right hand to your ankle, left hand just above the knee. You can push that leg further forward if you want more stretch. Square the shoulders. Lift your rib cage. Keep the length in the spine. Remember, just hinge forward from the hips. Now, as much as we're stretching the hips, we're still working on the muscles through our upper back to maintain good posture. What we don't want to keep doing is keep rounding that upper back, because you get your nose right to the floor without even feeling a stretch in the hip. So imagine you've got a pole stuck at the back of your t-shirt, and it's keeping your back really rigid as you lean forward. So as you lean forward, bend the elbows rather than the back. Breathe out with each little tip. Breath in to ease off. Make yourself feel a little bit heavier each time. And once more, getting something that looks off the dog. And resting in the middle. So we take the leg back, try and extend the leg out straight, and roll then onto the top of the toes, the top of the knee. It's your right hip now that's going to roll over to the ground and back. So it's just like you're trying to push the hip a little closer to the ground. As you do that, you should feel more stretch around that left hip. So you can bend your right elbow, let your weight go across into that right arm. Let the hip press down to the floor. And if you want less, you can bring the foot closer back towards the hip, or more, again pushing that leg forward. A couple more here. And then you get to stay and hold. Lift the ribs, bring the hands forward. Again, you can walk the hands forward and stay here. Keep pressing the knee down and lifting the chest up. Or again, still keeping the length in the back. You might want to bring your forearms to the ground. And then rock wherever you are. Gently pushing that right hip down to the floor. Just to the point where you feel a deeper stretch into the hip. Breathe in as you ease it back. And then breathing out to push it down. And again, each time you're pushing the hip down, that's how we should feel that left hip. Getting a nice little bit of tension. Nice, it's always nice. Stay and enjoy the nice. So once you've found that stretch, just stay here and breathe. Try and channel your breath down into your hips. As you breathe out, relax around the hip, relax around the shoulders. Maybe stretch the arms out nice and long, let your head rest, or stay on the forearms or the hands. With each out breath, just relax everywhere you can. The neck, your shoulders. Try and even relax the muscles in your face. Then when you're ready, you can walk the hands in and then bring the knees back into the centre. Bring your legs together. A little bit more work for the hips. Hold onto the knees and roll back and down when you're ready. So head and shoulders rested. Once we're here, we're going to lift the right leg onto the left thigh and just gently press the right knee forward. Arms come wide and we're going to do a little crunch, taking a breath in. As you breathe out, lift the left knee above the hip and then take a breath in as your foot lowers. So as you pull your left knee in, again that's helping to bring the stretch into that right hip. Out with each lift and a breath in to lower. And go with 4 more here, just trying to get a little bit further each time. Nice big pull in with that left knee. 2. Once more, and staying at the top. You're going to roll the feet to the left, so it's your right foot that comes down to the floor. Don't worry about the shoulder or the hips or the back lifting, that's fine. Once you've rolled across to your left and the foot's down, then try and encourage the right shoulder back onto the floor. Hand sits onto your knee and you're going to gently encourage the knee away. Breathe in as the knee comes in and then breathe out to gently press the knee away. And again, you should feel that stretching right into that right hip. Give me 2 more here. Your last one. Hold. Lift your bottom knee now so your thighs come together. Arms are wide and take a big breath in. With your out breath, bring the knees into the centre, squeezing your thighs together. We're going to roll the knees to the right and work to keep our left shoulder anchored. Breathe in, let the weight of the knees come across. Breathe out, pull the knees back into the middle. The more you keep the shoulders and the ribs anchored to the floor, the more stretch you're going to feel in that left hand side. And also when you feel that little bit of stretch, they're the muscles you want to use to pull the hips back in line with your ribs. So each time just feel like the legs become a little bit heavier. Strong out breath. Slow in breath. And one more time. And then we do that little sequence again on the opposite side. So bring the feet down to the floor when you're ready. Uncross the legs. Your left comes over your right. Try not to let the ankle bone sit on your thigh. Try and take it past because it can feel a bit uncomfortable on the thigh. First option, just to gently push that knee forward or coming into a little crunch, drawing the right knee in. And as you bring the right knee up above the hip, feeling more stretch around that left hip. Breathing in as you lower the foot to the floor. Breathe out, draw the belly in to lift the knee above the hip. Feeling the ribs nicely anchored to the ground. Lots of length into the neck. Grounded through the shoulders. And a couple more here. Keep the shoulders grounded. Roll your feet to the right. So your left foot comes down onto the floor. Try and ease that left shoulder back to the floor. Hand onto your knee. And just a gentle encouragement of the knee, pushing it away from your body. Breathe out through the mouth each time you push the knee away. And just to the point where you feel a deeper stretch into the outside of the hip. Never forcing it, just allowing yourself to feel it. Once more. Hold in. Bottom leg lifts now. Squeeze your thighs together. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, bring the knees back into the centre. Press the shoulders to the floor. And we're going to roll over to the left. And then back in to the middle. Breathing in as you roll the knees over. And then breathing out to roll back. Try and keep the head and the shoulders nice and grounded so all the stretch and the movement comes from your waist. And you've also got lots of stability and strength through your upper body. And so you can keep the shoulders grounded and let the legs go a little bit further. And a couple more again. The hips are thoroughly stretched today. With your last one, settling in the middle. Unravel your legs, bring the feet down. Little connection through your core, so you're drawing your belly towards your back, and then let your knees fall apart and bring the soles of your feet together. You can bring the heels as close as you want towards your bottom, but try and make sure that as you encourage the knees down to the floor, the lower back isn't lifting off the ground. So we'll need to keep some connection into our core to keep the spine in neutral, the pelvis in position, so that when we lower the knees, the stretch is back into the inner thighs. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out, let the knees just feel a little heavier. Again, nice full breath in. And out breath to relax further. Hands come onto your thighs. Press the knees together. Bring the knees towards your chest. Push the knees forward. Pull up with the knees and up into a seated position. I couldn't quite get up then. And then roll over onto your hands and your knees. So as you come onto your hands and your knees into box position, just going to come into a nice full cat stretch. So the tailbone scoops, the belly lifts, chin tucks in, eyes are on the thighs, and then you let your chest drop down to the floor. And then you push your nose forward and look up to the ceiling. Take your breath in, breathe out, draw the belly up, tuck the chin in, eyes on thighs, and release. Push back with the bottom. Draw the belly to the spine. And resting in the middle. Toes tuck, knees lift, heels push back towards the floor, and try and tuck your ears in between your arms. Press into your hands. Push right back into the heels of your feet. Lift the heels, bend your knees and step in. Both feet coming into the hips. Again, just lengthening through the back of the neck. Let the head feel nice and heavy. Breathe in when you're ready. And the out breath to grow and restack. And the head lifts when you're ready. And the shoulders just roll back and down. And finish with our wrap. Just from side to side. You've missed the down dog lecture, too late. Turn the head and the shoulders. And once more each way. And we are certainly thoroughly stretched today. Just loosen up the shoulders, roll the arms up and over the shoulders, and then pull the shoulders down to the back of your ribs. And once more. And give yourselves a clap over this. Well worked. I think somebody wants to go somewhere now.